Hello, moviegoers, and welcome back to another edition of Have You Seen It? I'm your host, Denise, and this week I am reviewing the movie Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, or Axel Foley. This movie is on Netflix, which was wonderful because I didn't have to leave my house to go see this movie. But here we are, over 30 years since we saw the last Beverly Hills Cop movie. We've got 1, we've got 2, and 3, and now we have this edition. So, in this movie, it stars, of course, Eddie Murphy, Kevin Bacon, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Taylor Page, Judge Reinhold, and John Ashton and Paul Reiser. Okay, so in this movie, Eddie Murphy reprises his role as Detroit cop Axel Foley and the shenanigans that come with Axel Foley. So it starts with him being in Detroit, minding his own business, but of course, he doesn't stay there long. He makes a trek to Beverly Hills, and what does he do? Of course, he's there to help solve some sort of crime. So in this movie, we've got lots of nostalgia. So if you are a fan of the franchise, especially, I think my favorite was Beverly Hills Cop, the first installment. You've got nostalgia all the way from his Detroit Lions apparel to his car, which, thank God, after 30 some years, he has restored that vehicle and he is still driving it around. It looks a lot better than it did previously. In this movie, you will also see lots of Easter eggs. So if you know the movie and you know the characters and the premise of Axel Foley and the Beverly Hills Police Department, you will be able to find some of those Easter eggs. So in this movie, we have Axel Foley, and he has a daughter. Okay, so I don't know where she came from, but I don't remember in any of the other movies him even speaking of a long-term relationship and a daughter, but that's okay. At some point, there was a divorce and he has this adult daughter who's now a lawyer, and their relationship is estranged. I mean, like really tense, and she's really not feeling him being in Beverly Hills at all, much less him trying to kind of iron out whatever their issues are. Well, we have the return of Billy, and he is now a private detective. And then we have Taggart, who has come out of retirement, come back to work on the force, but he is still as cantankerous and disagreeable as he always was. So nothing there has changed. Well, the daughter, she is trying to help a client because this client has been accused of killing a cop. So, of course, all the evidence points to him. And so she's trying to help him, trying to exonerate him because something just doesn't sit well. Well, whenever you have a situation like that where there's a potential cop killer, there's always a dirty cop somewhere. And for me, I knew exactly who it was from the jump. So when you go to see this movie, I want to see if you can figure out, even before Axel kind of sort of thinks he knows who it is, I knew exactly who the dirty cop was. So you've got drugs and you got drug cartels. So you've got, cops doing that kind of nonsense. You've got, your car chases. I mean, the extreme car chases where, Axel Foley is, escaping police and anybody else who's trailing him, the bad guys, and he is just tearing up traffic all over town, smashing up cars like he does, almost running over and killing everybody in his wake. So you've got that. So not only that, you also have the inept Beverly Hills Police Department who can't seem to solve this case, let alone really interested in solving the case. And of course, Axel is 2 steps ahead of them at every turn. So not only, in terms of the nostalgia of this movie, you're going to hear familiar songs on the soundtrack. There are familiar scenes that as soon as I saw them, I could relate back to one of the other movies. And I'm like, yep, I remember that type of scene. I remember this. I remember that. So if you are an Eddie Murphy fan, you are a fan of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, this is worth a look-see. Again, it's on Netflix. It's about 2 hours, but I mean, you'll enjoy it because, hey, it's Beverly Hills Cop and it's Eddie Murphy, so how could you not? So that is my review for this week. All right, folks, I'm going to jump right into my Nailed It. And since I'm on the Eddie Murphy train, I'm just going to stay there with my Nailed It this week. He has made a lot of fantastic movies with amazing, funny scenes that it was a hard, I'm like, which movie do I choose? Which scene do I choose? So I went all the way back to Norbit. And the scene where Norbit and Rasputia are in her car that's about this big, and she swears that Norbit has changed the settings on her seat because it's too tight and she can barely get in it. As soon as I recalled the scene, I hollered. I hollered. And when I watched the movie and saw that particular scene, I don't know whether it was the dialogue itself that was making me laugh so hard or just the two of them as a couple together that made me laugh so hard. So that is my Nailed It for this week. Norbit and the car seat exchange between Norbit and Rasputia. All right, folks, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And remember, we are available on every podcast platform in the universe. Just type in, "Have you seen it?" and there I will be. All right, moviegoers, until next week, you know exactly what to do. I need you to see a movie because I'm going to see a movie. Until next week, bye-bye.